Hey everyone, long time no see. Uh, yeah, it has been a while, and I haven't really engaged with people on this channel in years. Mostly been on Instagram, but I felt compelled to make a video because I just went to Fan Expo Boston, and I recently watched a video by Swaggle on his takeaways from San Diego Comic Con, and I thought that was super interesting. So I wanted to share my takeaways. I've been going to Fan Expo Boston for a while, but this by far was the smallest the convention has ever been, both in time in terms of the space that they used in Boston's largest convention center, and the fact that it was less about comics than I've ever seen. More of a push this year toward anime and gaming, like Super Mario and things like that. No major national dealers, which was surprising. Most of the dealers were from the East Coast. One is far south as Florida, but most of them from the New England and New York area. I would say, in terms of dealers carrying exclusively comic books, there were only 15, which is really low. The first year I went to the New Fan Expo, it was closer to 30 or 40, and there were several national dealers. I actually only gave business to four dealers at Comic Con this year. The first day I went in, really did some initial scoping. I wanted to see who had what, which was really easy when only 15 dealers or only 15 booths were actively carrying large amounts of comic books. But one of the first things I saw was a dealer with $5 silver and bronze, and I immediately started to go toward his boxes. I pulled this out for $5. It's a low grade copy, but I'm not going to leave it behind. Um, Fairly confident I could probably sell this for between 40 and 50. There's a facsimile cover version of this that sold on eBay a few weeks ago for 60. Maybe that was a one and done thing, but not going to leave this behind. This is one of those books that you would find. If you're going to find it, you're going to find it on the first day in like the first 2 hours, and then it's going to get snatched up. So this is why you check the bins and see what deals there are. Another $5 book, Giant Size X-Men #2. Um, this is a technological update to the Sentinels. Um, Not a crazy amazing deal, but it's a good filler for the Bronze Age. Probably a $20 book, I would say. This one I was really excited to find. This is a double now. My second copy. All Star Western 117, first appearance of Madam 44. This is a low grade copy, but this book is hard to find and it's very sought after. So even though this book in this shape may not fetch a premium, it would get a lot of bidders. People really like this book, um, and all three of these books are really good trade bait. Uh, Now I do have some notes, so if I look down, you know why. Yes. So I bought a 3 day pass, but my initial intention was to just go for Friday and Sunday. On Friday, I made this impulse buy. Marvel feature #1. I paid 80 for this. Now I owned this book a few years back, and I sold it to fund the purchase of a bigger key. Um, I always wanted to upgrade it anyway, and this copy would be an upgrade on the previous one that I owned. Um, so very happy to do that. And this is a book that you might sometimes see for like 150 to 200. I never wanted to pay those prices. I was gladly going to pay 80. So for me that was a good deal. And then um, great guys out of Baltimore. They showed up at the con. It was Cowabunga Comics and Madman Comics. I think you can find both of them on Instagram. But they were sharing a booth and they brought a lot of terrific books, mostly Silver Age, X-Men, and Fantastic Four. Trying to complete the 1 through 10 run for X-Men. This is a low grade copy of #2. Um, yeah, I mean this was just a no brainer for me. Um, this is one of those annoying books that it always seems to go for more than you're willing to spend, or at least it is for me. So I got this at a good price point, and I was pretty happy. And you can't do a 1 through 10 run if you're missing number 2. So now I've got it. First appearance of Vanisher, by the way. Now, as part of the initial scoping on the first day, I wanted to see what kind of big books were out there. And with so few dealers, there were honestly minimal books. There was one guy who had like every key under the sun minus Action Comics 1, but to be frank, I maybe only saw him make one sale the whole weekend. Not to say that he didn't make others, but I didn't see some of the dealers super busy. Um, Now, I wanted to make a deal for a Brave and the Bold 28, but that wasn't going to happen. For the first time, I brought a book of I brought a bag of trade bait with me, hoping to make a deal. And though I got into really advanced conversations with one dealer on the Brave and the Bold 28, we just couldn't make it work. I did, however, manage to make a deal for this Hulk number 2. Sometimes I call it the poor man's Hulk number 1. First appearance of the Green Hulk. This is a VG copy in really nice presenting shape. This is the first Hulk book that I own. Really happy about this. In terms of what it took to get it, like I said, I brought a bag of books with me. I brought, just to give you an idea, I brought a CGC 7.0 of All-Star Western 10. I brought a CGC 6.5 of Fantastic Four 11. I brought an Amazing Spider-Man 14, an Avengers 4, a Tales of Suspense 52, an NYX 3, the Marvel Superheroes comic book with Doctor Doom on the cover. I brought the first appearance of Kang, and then I had some Silver and Golden Age, I guess you would call it filler. I showed up at this booth on Saturday, interested in the Hulk, which he had priced at 1,800, and I asked him if he was interested in a potential trade, and he said he was. I showed him my books, and the final deal was for this Hulk in exchange for Avengers 4, Tales of Suspense 52, a Strange Tales Annual number 2, and $200 cash. Now, dollar for dollar, the dealer got the better deal. That said, the Avengers 4 and the Tales of Suspense 52 were books that the shape they were in was not something I was happy with. And to be out $200, that wasn't a big deal for me. I think that was more of a pot sweetener, to be honest. What I will say is that if you're going to do a deal like this, come prepared. Bring books of value that dealers can move. This book is what it is. So you need to bring similar type books. I brought the Spider-Man 14. I brought the Avengers 4. He was interested in the Avengers 4. But know your grades and know the value of your books, or at least be like in ballpark with the dealer. That way, there's like some credibility to go with the negotiations. I would also say don't bring books you're not comfortable um, parting with. So there were a lot of people interested in my Spider-Man 14. I should have known I wasn't really willing to part with it, but is what it is. I didn't end up parting with it, but the deal came together for this, and I'm super happy about it. Um, on Sunday, I went back and I made a deal for this, another trade deal. This was a dealer out of Long Island, New York. I saw this on the wall, close to close of business, and he had 1,100 on it. This is a VG copy of the first appearance of Punisher and Jackal. Ooh, the glare is really bad. Anyway, so same thing. This was about cash and trade. So he looked at my books. He wanted the Marvel superheroes with Doctor Doom on the cover and my first appearance of Kang. And he also asked for $550 cash. For me, that is a fair deal. I had doubles of the Kang anyway, so I was super willing to move it. The Doom book is not, I know it's sought after and it's a really cool cover. Not a book that I care too much about. And this is a Bronze Age mega key. Never owned this book, but certainly happy that I do now. Now, Why did I make those trades, and what are some of the advantages? I would say that I'm in a really interesting part of my life where not only am I paying rent in New York City, which is a situation, but I'm planning for a wedding. So I don't have the financial capacity to be spending $800, $1,800, uh, $1,100 at a time on books. I did bring a budget with me to Comic Con, and I stayed within it, which I'm really, really happy about. But the only way I was going to afford these two books was if I showed up willing to make trades. So that's what I did. Um, I would encourage others to do it too. I would say that when you make a trade, you're going to lose something. Um, the valuation always favors the dealer because the dealer needs to make money. He is there to make money, or she. Um, and if it's not the value that you lose, even though you will lose value, um, you are going to lose books that you like or that have significant value in their own right. Um, that said, a lot of it is how badly do you want it. For me, this Spider-Man 129 and the Hulk 2, they they may not go for the same amount of money as everything I traded, but they are really, really respectable books in their own right that anybody would want. And ultimately, like if I was going to buy either of these books, I'd either have to save for a long time and maybe get distracted, or I'd have to make some sales and then pay taxes on the money anyway. Um, I already had money tied into the books that I traded, so for me it was a no-brainer. Um, in terms of big picture on the Comic Con, I think this might be my last Fan Expo Boston. Seems like the cons in the Northeast now favor um, Terrificon and Little Giant Comic Con in Concord, New Hampshire, if collecting comic books is for you. Did not detect the same sort of situation as they had in San Diego, where because there were no big panels because of the actor strikes, that you had people have this renewed interest in comic books. I will say the comic book dealers looked really slow. There was one guy who had really good keys, but I think his prices were just a little out there, and I didn't see him do anything all weekend except for like reprice and restock books. I don't know. A little bizarre. Um, so I think I'm done with Fan Expo Boston, despite the fact that I came away with a pretty good haul. Um, you can follow me on Instagram at Boston Comicaholic. Appreciate your thoughts on this, and good to talk to you. Take care.